you. The Governor General have sit there to continue to approve the ignorancy, the biasness, the criminality, the thieving of the government. He continued to approve it. What sense the Governor General makes sitting there in the office of representative? Not under that's for the benefit of the mass. I sure know that. Not for the benefit of the mass. Not for the benefit of the mass. Jamaica people, we are in some serious problem. And I remember, you know, remember that I hear Andre Stevenson speak it over some couple months. Well, say, be prepared for what is to come. Be prepared for what is to come. We see where Andrew Holness, are you talking about bully? Are you talking about bully? When the Indian immigrants that comes here, walking up and down without no proper quarantine, no proper approvement by those immigrants, they just come and dump on us. Our border are not safe between the Andrew Owens and Chang, are not safe. All of our rights been trampled and been taken away from us. Mrs. Escobar, I want to ask you a question. There are nothing from the G2K or from Young Jamaica about the situation that been unfolded to about Wheatley with the illicit enrichment, and he's supposed to be charged. The IC recommend that he's supposed to be charged. Where are they on this one, Mrs. Escobar? My God. My God Almighty. My God. My God. But they could hold Mr. Dennis Garden as hostage. Right? So you saw Jamaica around on a one-sided. I have remember you have one now in the country that he called himself Prophet Rydell Rowe. How come out and tell you that the Prime Minister should multi-rich? Multi-rich. We have a problem with the Prime Minister and multi-rich, and everybody want rich. Everybody want rich. But the way is the way how you rich and the way how you get rich. And the way how you want to rich. Is that's where the problem come in. You can't run a country and the mass of the people being suffering, and yet you have what you call it charity money that's supposed to be the beneficial of the state. Go to your own personal use. Go to your own personal use. And you are say you're a man of God. That's why I said I don't know how to believe in some of these people that call themselves Christian nowadays, you know. Because we see where what they call them prophet and this and that are taking away. People are going for counseling and then being taken away people's husband and say they are good old. Right? So anyway, you're done. The buck stop with you. You individually. You have to know what is right from what is wrong, and you have to continue to search people to know they have a representative character that they can guide you. Because many people do not want to see you walk on the right track or the right path. Because many of these people have voted for the Jamaica Labour Party, you know. You know what they vote for? They may have influence on a few or become the strong man or the strong woman in the constituency. So they have access to form a political ally. Right? So when they form the political ally, the mass of the constituency will not get the proper representation that he's supposed to get. Right? Because it's just a few can get the state asset, right? Or the state benefit. So boom, when you look now, those are the people that will continue to come up and endorse the government and say blah blah blah. And then them, right? Try to influence those couple that do not know nothing about proper representation. So you have people like Munchi B now who sing for his bread and end up sit into the Ministry of Labor. Because the Ministry of Labor is the Permanent Charge Junior Constituency Office. That's where the Ministry of Labor reside now. So if you want to find the Ministry of Labor, you don't need to go nowhere in Kingston. Just turn right down to Clarendon, down in Permanent Charge Constituency. That's where the Ministry of Labor are. Munchi B is the state minister in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. So I saw the thing represent. So my people, I gonna end up for the day because the program continues to come under restriction. I can't see where they are continuing restricting this life for. So I am not getting that energy that I supposed to, you know. So hold on, let us see. Mr. Escobar want to come up. Good morning. Good morning, sweetheart. How you doing?
Yeah, Sir Bliss, you can hear me?
Yeah, I'm here loud and clear, sweetie.
All right. Because me hear a command this morning, but me say a lot of people didn't miss this thing concerning the whole deportees, you know. Because I think Jamaican people never did a connect up with that them long time. And me go connect up somebody that them feel. So, Sir Bliss, remember Audrey Marks was an ambassador to the United States, no so?
Same way, sir.
All right. Who remember when Marlene and she did buck up? And Marlene did the joke where they did run in the parliament. The first time this woman ever come in the parliament, the woman run one stupid infidelity joke. The woman come and tell the people and say, Marlene approach her and say, if she did there with the Prime Minister. Is
exactly
this that there with the Prime Minister?
Exactly.
We show you all these people now no class and nothing about them in as big woman in and they say they married and as some dirty junker them. All right. Come back again. That's how she blunder again. People are look on it and say, we think say this a woman sensible, but good God, hear them as up me here. Fast forward now. This woman lose paymaster. This woman is ambassador to foreign. With ambassador role, you get certain benefits. You're in a people foreign country, you have housing, you have car, you are going to various meeting, go meet all sorts of other country and spokes, diplomats from other place where you have to interact with. Wouldn't anybody like that, Sir Bless, in a one position where every single week you are meeting with another representative from another country to talk about international and regional matters? Now put yourself in order now and pose and set up yourself. Because guess what? You're a shine, you're ready for shine and represent the country that you are the ambassador for. No, so.
Okay. Same here, sir.
All of those benefits out there. And you had to return to Jamaica to participate in a domestic politics. And then brush it on and sit now make it about she just come to give back and serve our country. Nothing like that. The deal that was signed, that proposal by Audrey Marks to the United States, and me tell them say United States no keep secret. So when they believe they can come in the country, come trick the people them and chat with gibberish them in the parliament. United States, now the time to keep secret, they will dash you underneath the bus. Them show Andrew underneath the bus already with the war secretary when Trump put it up on Twitter. I show with Andrew, and they said Audrey Marks was in that meeting with the United States war secretary with Andrew Holness. That is when they go take out Maduro. So these people can't come tell me nothing. Come say they weren't the one who approached the United States. I them do it. I know the reason that Orshang him to can't really explain for himself in the parliament because what? The culprit sit down right behind Andrew Holness. They rub down Andrew's shoulder, they tell him to cool down, cool down. Nobody with the excitement. She rubbed down Andrew yesterday in the parliament and tell him to cool down. Meanwhile, Orshang on a fire with some serious question and him couldn't even answer the question them. And they hide it and shield it, and when people ask, who was that individual who approached the United States with such an offer? It is not beneficial to Jamaica in no form of way. So why would you as a third world country go and put yourself in that the dilemma there? Gonna talk about you willing to be transit country, for deportee. And when you come and tell them about when them come here, them free to walk up and down and go all over the place. And in the same length and breadth, tell me about asylum. And in the same length and breadth, tell me about criminal record, and if they get criminal record, that you can't do this and you can't do that, and you have orders for deport. What kind of stupidness are going on there so? And in the same length and breadth, Jamaica is a signatory to the convention of the thing there, in terms of the UN. So these people, to me, they are going around signing some contracts and them don't even take into consideration past governments and past contracts that would have signed before and certain memorandum of understanding that would have signed before. And I'm going to put this out there, Sir Bless, because a lot of people believe that this thing are going to be a normal. Well, the United States are play a mind game on Jamaica, and because they don't, and no sense. Them are going to get caught right in it. I'm going to tell you why. You hear what Orshang talking in parliament and say? 25 people. Per every 2 weeks, 25 persons will come here. Then in the round of the back part.
That's 50 a month.
Right, that's 50 a month, you know. But round of the back part of the paper, when you spin the page, it says 10 not supposed to depend on the island at a time. No more than 10. Nothing depend on the island in a single time. So
they gone over the criteria.
So if a 10 per 2 weeks we come here, that's a 20 per month, you know. So how you that say 25 and 25 and 25 are 50?
So your numbers are 30 more large.
Where you go put them the extra 30 there? And then in the same length and breadth, Orshang say, if the program exceed the amount that they agree upon, which is the 25, then can halt the program at any given time. But yet still, the same program don't have a timeline of ending.
So hold on, Mrs. Escobar. So this sound like what mean, Mr. Escobar? So this sound like one chaka sit to me like an Arab.
Say, I want chaka business. You know what the United States are going to do Jamaica? United States don't evaluate already, said Jamaican politicians are corrupt. United States don't analyze already, say 1.8% of the donation money where them help contribute to, and that alone spending at the country. United States don't identify, so the breadbasket parish mash up. You see those 25 where you see them talk about them agree upon. You see anytime they hear United States to them say, no man, 25, no man, take 50. You see, anyhow the Jamaican government ever refused the 50 and they saw everything tumbling in this country.
Wow.
Them plan for Jamaica, you know. Them plan for Jamaica, but through them
be prepared. Be prepared.
Yeah. So you see the Cuban doctor, them way them come and tell them about them contract expire and we can't renew. How are we so accommodating? So we couldn't accommodate Cuban doctors and we couldn't do anything in our powers to allow them to stay. We come up and tell them, say, if you don't want to stay, we are going to sign one contract, we don't know. But if you don't want to stay, go on back. If you want to return, and no return, and we sign one contract. You hear what the Cuban government say? Any Cuban doctor who sign any agreement with the Jamaican government, then they pan their own. So we know if you can't hear them come out, can't tell we said this I go bad with them and that I go bad with them. We know business and we no care because we no go sign no contract with them. So deal with no problem. And that then tell them, you know, the head doctors that were there, they are in Cuba. None of them remain. So any Cuban doctor want to see out here, I they want them when they don't have them twist views already. And they have them friend here, so friend there so. Because the one them where we know and the popular one them where we know a long time, they are in Cuba. None of them never to return to Jamaica. And they are offering them service in a Cuba. Yes. So it is so funny how these people are so accommodating to deportees. And mind you, I'm going to put this into context too because a lot of people are missing it, you know. All right. The Gleaner report says non-nationals, right? Jamaica will be hosting non-national. Or Strong run out the day in the press conference and tell them say and them now host non-national, not true?
Yeah. So what they say? So
terribly, yeah, you know. If these people are Jamaican born, right? According to Horace Chang, why would we be transit country to persons who neighbor string cut a long time? Why would we not accept them as
Mrs. Escobar. So a transit, that means you will accommodate anybody from any part of the world, right?
All right.
All over the world. No, that mean?
Exactly.
And I'm saying no, Mrs. Escobar. During the process, they say the America going to send back our Jamaican back to their native land. You don't think the security minister, the foreign affairs minister, and even the justice minister should have a press conference immediately and say to us that we understand what is going on. So since it becomes like Ian Bamba, you know, why we are hearing this type of
actually, when Gleaner put up this, and now, you know, them are telling people, them say, yes, we accept some people. Remember, say, Gleaner never put out this, no. All know, them the deported are coming in the country normal. This is why me I say.
That's what Margot said in the parliament yesterday.
And that is what me I look for a long time and I say, if these people according to Chang are Jamaican born, but then do something foreign and chumpa, get rid of them now, right? Why would we need to be a transit country for our same Jamaican people if it wasn't for a non-national? Why would be a transit? Them want to just come to the airport regular like any other deportee. And then the minister would know how to get them in, rope them in, put them in some program now to ensure so they don't come to Jamaica for commit no crime. Deterrence program, you know. Some of them all people we could have even agree with them to carry them down at the west, go see how they can nail up some rooftop. And then we wouldn't need to be no transit country. Take Jamaican born who go foreign go commit whatsoever crime then gonna go commit. Because guess what? If America refuse them, we the country where them born have to accept them. So we wouldn't need to be no transit. So that alone shows say these persons are not Jamaican and non-national them. And Horace Chang, no, you know, make no sense you come out in a press conference, come talk, and when you're done, you have to come back and change your mouth. This is to show the type of people we are dealing with. And again, instead the United States are going to fund these people in terms of the accommodation. Now let us ask ourselves a question. Accommodation. Where will they sleep? Because uno say uno can't confine them, you know, that he say no, people uno feel listen or strong good or strong say can't confine them and you can't lock them up because it go against human rights. Mind you, these people are non-nationals and put on top of it, the United States government will be funding them. Where will they sleep? What housing solution you put together as the government to house them? Because you know you can't confine them, that means you can't carry them going to no center. You can't call them go no correctional center or put them over Hope Park camp or no JDF facility. So where would you put them? I couldn't in the shelter them with the Europeans.
So they got a homeless.
So that again, so why they tell me say
you're going to put them in the brackets as homeless.
At the NHT housing solution, them are put them in. Don't be
like the container houses them.
Container house, they now give them container house, sir. Bless you crazy. Container house after the old idiot, them where they run up and down back a handju. Them the deported, they now get container house. As a housing scheme and gated community, them are going to live in our NHT bill.
Oh, I get your point. I get it. So them are treated as number one priority.
No, hit me and say, you were chung refer to them as, you were chung call them transit tourists. You can't go put tourists in a Madila unit. You can't go put tourists in a Madila unit and container house. Them are going to live the maddest and the sickest life in a Jamaica balcony settings. Oh.
Miss Escobar.
Them now put tourists and they were in transit tourists. So if you can't confine them, remember, I know these people are not Jamaica, them band, they are not ties to Jamaica, they never pay tax here yet. These people don't pay taxes here, never yet.
Miss Escobar.
Yeah.
I get an urgent text now where I need to speak to somebody. Urgent. So I'm going to end the live. Yeah. We can start back again.
All right. Yeah, well, me have seen the thing, them I go check if Jira come on, and if not,
yeah, man. Yeah, come on. Come see send me an invitation.
All right. I go check me. I go on Jira live, and after Jira live, me come on for my own.
All right. What time is live?
Yeah, me I go on Dre live. When him done, me come on after Dre.
All right. No problem, Miss Escobar. Thank you very much, darling.
All right.
Good afternoon, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Jamaicans. Let me first apologize for our delayed start. We had some technical issues that we had to resolve. My name is Julian Robinson, Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Andrew and Opposition Spokesman on Finance. To my left is the Opposition Leader, Mark Goldin, and to my right is Senator Cleveland Tomlinson. This press conference has been convened to address the report of the Integrity Commission into issues related to Member of Parliament Andrew Wheatley and the recommendation of the Director of Corruption Prosecution for 4 criminal charges to be laid against Dr. Wheatley. I want to reiterate, reinforce, and to stand by the call made by the opposition leader for Andrew Wheatley to be removed from the Cabinet of Jamaica with immediate effect. This is the first time that we have had a public official, and certainly a member of parliament, who has been recommended for charges for illicit enrichment, a very serious allegation and charge. But beyond the charges, I want to take you through the responses of Dr. Wheatley to the Integrity Commission. And it is important to note that this investigation started from 2021, 5 years ago. And if you look at the chronology, many opportunities were provided for Dr. Wheatley to respond to the questions, the queries of the Integrity Commission to provide clarification on the issues that arose. So we have had an investigation for over 5 years. I would say due process was provided to Dr. Wheatley over this period of time. And beyond the allegations, I want to look at the issue of his own credibility in the responses that he has provided to the Integrity Commission, because it goes to the heart of public trust. And I believe, based on the responses he has provided, he has lost public trust and credibility. And just on that basis, he should be removed from the cabinet. Let me take one of the findings from the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission asked Dr. Wheatley to provide information about the sale of his medical practice, Western Medical Center, for $13 million in 2013, which was paid through intermittent cash payments. Dr. Wheatley named the buyer, but he produced no receipts. The Integrity Commission independently established that the individual who was named as the buyer had been involuntarily removed from Jamaica, whether by deportation or extradition, 3 years before the transaction was allegedly to have taken place. Let me just repeat that. Dr. Wheatley said to the Integrity Commission that his medical practice was sold to an individual. He couldn't provide records. When the Integrity Commission did its own research, the name of the person he provided had been removed from Jamaica, either by deportation or extradition, 3 years before the transaction was alleged to have taken place. So that explanation was not just unsubstantiated. It was impossible. It could not have taken place. And the Integrity Commission rejected that. Let's take another issue that arose from the report. An investment scheme. Dr. Wheatley told the Commission he earned returns from a high-yield investment scheme called U-Win Antigua between 2007 and 2010. The Integrity Commission could find no evidence that this scheme existed. There were no records. But more importantly, the explanation or the records were not in Dr. Wheatley's own statutory declarations for the entire period. And he only raised this in 2024 when part of the investigation into illicit enrichment. So there is again an issue of credibility. Dr. Wheatley represents to the Commission one thing, and then on investigation, it is found that it is totally opposite. The third issue, Dr. Wheatley had indicated to the Commission that he had received rental income of approximately $143 million. Naturally, the Integrity Commission asked for the names of those tenants, receipts, etc. Dr. Wheatley said that those persons were protected under the Data Protection Act, and as such, he could not provide that information. When he was pressed further, while he was able to provide some names and some substantiation, he could not substantiate the entire amount of 143 million, which he claimed came from rental income. The fourth issue relates to commercial loans, that 5 Bank of Nova Scotia loans were taken out in Dr. Wheatley's name, spanning over the period 2013 to 2021. But these were never ever declared in his statutory declarations. His explanation was that these commercial loans were related to a joint venture with a business partner and didn't involve personal finances. But that was rejected by the Integrity Commission, because once a loan is taken out in your personal name, you are required to declare that to the Integrity Commission. So again, a very clear and I would say deliberate omission. The fifth issue relates to his ownership of lands in East Kirkland Heights, which were subdivided into 20 strata lots. 14 of those were sold over a 4-year period. None of this was reflected in his statutory declarations of 2013, 2014, 2015, or 2016. 6 of the lots were transferred to him solely. It wasn't until 2017 that any reference to a subdivision appeared at all. The Commission obtained the full picture through information from the National Land Agency, independent of the information that would have been provided by Dr. Wheatley. Again, this is not just a matter of an oversight. These are sales from assets that he would have had, which he would have been required to declare to the Integrity Commission, which were not done. The sixth issue is that when you look at the totality of the chronology of the events related to the investigation into Dr. Wheatley from 2021 to 2026, there is a pattern. There's a pattern of information that is not readily provided. There's a pattern of information that is provided which cannot be substantiated. And there's really a pattern of evasion. Now, anyone who operates like this, whose own credibility cannot stand the test of scrutiny, should not be a member of a cabinet. And so, in closing, we are reiterating our call for Dr. Wheatley to be removed immediately from the cabinet. I find it ironic. He was removed in 2018 after allegations of corruption, nepotism, and cronyism related to him as Minister of Energy. For some reason, he remained out of the cabinet for 7 years. Now, I don't know whether he told the Prime Minister when he was being reappointed that he was the subject of an Integrity Commission investigation into illicit enrichment. But one wonders, why would he have been reappointed if he would have known that he was the subject of an investigation? And the question has to arise. I mean, we know he's not alone. We know there are at least, from my count, 8 or 9 others, members of Parliament, we don't know whether they are cabinet ministers or not, who are also the subject of investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. We call for those persons to declare themselves and hold up their hands, because we can't have the executive of the country dominated by people who are under investigation for serious criminal corruption. Corruption meaning having illicit enrichment means you have assets that you cannot account for based on your lawful income. The country has to draw a line in the sand, and the PNP is resolute, and we will continue to hold this government accountable and ensure that persons with that kind of track record don't have the opportunity to exercise decisions over this population. I'm going to stop here and turn to my colleague Cleveland, who will take us through some of the findings of the Integrity Commission related to the finances that were exposed. Cleveland.
Thank you, Julian. Good afternoon to the members of the media and Jamaicans watching online. The offense of illicit enrichment was enacted in domestic law in 2001, pursuant to Jamaica acceding to the Inter-American Convention Against Corruption. Article 9 of that convention requires that states that accede to the convention should recognize in its domestic law the act of illicit enrichment, which is treated as an act of corruption. Illicit enrichment, in essence, speaks to the enjoyment of a particular degree of wealth that cannot be justified, that cannot be traced back to, that cannot be linked or referenced to one's lawful legal source of income. The Integrity Commission, having conducted its extensive and thorough investigation, concluded that Member of Parliament Dr. Andrew Wheatley is in breach of the Corruption Prevention Act, in particular the offense of illicit enrichment. How did it arrive at this conclusion? According to the Integrity Commission, between 2013 and 2022, Dr. Wheatley, his total known lawful income amounted to approximately $187 million. His total expenditure and assets acquired over that period, over the same period, amounted to approximately $352 million. That's a shortfall of $164 million. So how you arrive at illicit enrichment, the determination of illicit enrichment, a formula, a simple mathematical formula is incorporated. Let's assume that your wealth over a period of time amounts to $20. The assets that you have acquired, the expenditure that you have made was $20. But your income over that specified period was $10. So you deduct your income of $10 from your expenditure or your wealth of $20, which would leave a difference of $10. That $10 cannot be explained by your lawful income, which means that that $10 is treated as illicit enrichment. In the case of Dr. Wheatley, it was not $10, it was $164 million. So $164 million of his wealth could not be explained by his lawful income. And that is why the Integrity Commission concluded that this amounts to illicit enrichment. Make no mistake, the Integrity Commission provided numerous opportunities for Dr. Wheatley to explain the source of this wealth. I read the chronology, I read the report in its entirety. There were several opportunities for him to appear before the Integrity Commission in the presence of his counsel to explain and justify his source of income. So he cannot provide an explanation that he did not have the opportunity to respond. The Integrity Commission was very extensive in the opportunities that it provided him. The findings are more serious than just the $164 million of his wealth that could not be explained by his lawful income. There were bank deposits that also could not be explained. According to the Integrity Commission's report, total deposits across his 4 personal accounts for the relevant period amounted to approximately $595 million. After accounting for transfers, interest, and deposits that carried a satisfactory explanation, the Integrity Commission was satisfied with the explanation provided for that. Approximately $168 million remain unexplained. In essence, deposits to his 4 bank accounts amounted to $168 million that could not be explained. Where have we seen this before? We have seen it when the Integrity Commission produced its report into the financial conduct of the Prime Minister and his personal financial affairs, where we saw that there were deposits to the tune of millions of Jamaican dollars that could not be explained. It's the same pattern that is emerging in this situation with Dr. Andrew Wheatley. There are also vehicle sales that could not be properly substantiated. Dr. Wheatley claimed $29 million from the sale of vehicles. The Director of Investigation was able to independently verify the sale of only 4 of the 6 vehicles claimed. No documentary evidence of sale prices was produced for any of them. That is problematic, and this contributed to the conclusion from the Integrity Commission that something was not right with the conduct of his financial affairs. Let's also look at rental income. Dr. Wheatley reported approximately 143 million in rental income over the period. When he was formally requested to provide the tenants' names, the lease agreements, and bank deposits evidence, he initially refused. Now, if you are on a mission to clear your name, I don't understand why it would be difficult for you to produce the information necessary to act as evidence in your defense. So he initially refused, citing the Data Protection Act. And the Director of Investigation determined that argument had no legal basis whatsoever under the Integrity Commission Act. Only a portion of the rental income was ultimately substantiated. So the remainder was excluded from the calculations. And that acted in his favor, understand that. But beyond that, there were undeclared loans, commercial loans. There were loans from Bank of Nova Scotia that amounted to over 50 million Jamaican dollars that was not declared in his statutory declarations. That is a breach of the Integrity Commission Act that requires for you to completely and accurately disclose all assets and liabilities and income. And a loan is a liability. You owe it. You're supposed to pay it back. And he did not disclose that. And when I calculated the amount, it was over $50 million. I don't know how you can forget that you owe over $50 million. You know, that's unheard of. So the Integrity Commission found that to be very problematic. There was also the acquisition of land, the East Kirkland Heights development. Dr. Wheatley co-purchased land at East Kirkland Heights in 2011. The land was subdivided into 20 strata lots in 2013. 14 of those lots were sold between 2014 and 2018. None of those transactions, or not one of those transactions, appeared in his statutory declarations. The Integrity Commission requires that you include disposal and acquisition of assets in your statutory declaration. He excluded that, and this contributed to the conclusion that he omitted information required from his statutory declarations. There were 6 remaining lots that were transferred to him solely as purported gift from this joint venture. So what the Integrity Commission identified is that, according to him, he did not invest any capital in the acquisition of this land that was subsequently developed into strata lots. But then he received 6 lots as gift, and that sounds highly irregular. And in the absence of evidence to substantiate his claim, the Integrity Commission dismissed his explanation. You know, in closing, I want to say that the methodology that was utilized by the Integrity Commission in arriving at illicit enrichment is robust. It's not only utilized in the Jamaican jurisdiction, it's utilized across the world. And it's a simple and easy formula to utilize, and that it resulted in a significant amount, $164 million, being unexplained by his lawful earnings is serious accusation. And I repeat the call from your position that with this hovering him, he has no place in the cabinet of Jamaica. The office of cabinet, the public office, exceeds any individual and must be treated with the appropriate dignity and respect that he deserves. He should step aside forthwith.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you members of the media for being here, and those who are watching online, greetings. My two parliamentary colleagues have gone into some of the details of the Integrity Commission report concerning MP Andrew Wheatley, who is a minister of government. As a result of that extensive investigation done by the Integrity Commission, the Director of Corruption Prosecutions has made a decision that Dr. Wheatley should be charged with 4 offenses. The most egregious of those offenses is the corruption offense of illicit enrichment, which is part of our law, was brought into our law under the Corruption Prevention Act to give effect to our international obligations as signatories to anti-corruption treaties, which are global. It is absolutely untenable for the Cabinet of Jamaica to have a sitting minister who has been recommended to be charged with the corruption offense of illicit enrichment. That brings Jamaica's name into disrepute, both here and abroad. Furthermore, there are 2 serious charges relating to making false declarations, which is also a serious offense under the Integrity Commission Act and its predecessor, the Parliamentarian Integrity of Members Act. That prior to 18 was the law which required MPs and senators to file annual declarations. And it's important to note that what the Integrity Commission is saying is that the falsehoods in the declaration submitted by Dr. Wheatley arose both under the law prior to 2018, the Parliamentary Members Integrity Act, and the law that's existed since 2018, which is the Integrity Commission Act. So there is a long-standing pattern of these declarations not giving the true picture of the members' state of affairs. It's a statutory declaration is a comprehensive document. It requires you to disclose all your assets, personal or business, all your liabilities, personal or business, and all your income. Dr. Wheatley, manifestly, according to the report, didn't comply with those obligations, hence the recommendation that he be charged. And there is a 4th offense relating to failure to supply information required by the Commission, which is also a serious offense. So I am reiterating my call on Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of this country, to take the necessary steps to ensure that Dr. Wheatley is immediately removed from the Cabinet of Jamaica. It is true that Dr. Holness himself remains under a cloud because his declarations were the subject of a detailed report, and the findings were sent to the FID over a year ago for them to investigate further because information that the Integrity Commission had asked for had not been provided, which was necessary for them to conclude their work. That remains in abeyance. Dr. Holness took the Integrity Commission to court, seeking to challenge the constitutionality of that legislation, the Integrity Commission Act itself, which was passed by his government, and also the offense of illicit enrichment, which is in the Corruption Prevention Act, and which is an important part of our anti-corruption architecture. This is the context in which we're operating in this country in terms of governance, and it cannot be worsened by having somebody who's under the cloud of a criminal charge pending for serious matters like this being allowed to remain in the cabinet of the country, which is the body in charge of the executive government of Jamaica. So we have called for this, and we hope that all well-thinking Jamaicans and all organizations that have an interest in national development and the good governance of the country will put some pressure on the government so that the right thing can be done. We don't know the outcome of any prosecution. That's not for us to determine. The point is, whatever Dr. Wheatley may be saying in his defense is really irrelevant at this point. The investigation is concluded, a decision has been made, he is to be prosecuted for these matters, he must step back. He cannot remain part of the government of Jamaica. There are two other matters I wish to raise with you today. The first of those two relates to this matter of the third country nationals who are going to be coming to Jamaica pursuant to an MOU that we were told in Parliament yesterday by the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, was signed by him, I believe, on behalf of the government of Jamaica last week, Thursday. Now, this is a matter which is of great concern to many Jamaicans. The US courts have the lawfulness of these arrangements in their sights currently. There's a case decided by a federal judge in Massachusetts which said that these third country arrangements are not lawful under US law. The government of the United States is appealing that to their Supreme Court. That matter is not yet resolved. But we are nevertheless embarking upon an arrangement, notwithstanding the fact that the lawfulness of that arrangement in the jurisdiction of the other country that we're signing to is itself very uncertain. But there's another matter which I think cannot be overlooked. The Gleaner has reported that they received a copy of a diplomatic note from the United States government to the Jamaican government indicating that this arrangement was first proposed by a member of the government of Jamaica, Audrey Marks, MP, and that she raised it in March, I think it was, at the security conference that was held in Florida, hosted by the US government at the time. In Parliament yesterday, Dr. Chang was asked the question, how did this arrangement come into existence? And he said that it was initiated by the US government. Now, the two positions can't both be true. And I think there is a basis for this matter to be referred to the Privileges Committee of Parliament so that the question of whether the Minister of National Security lied to Parliament yesterday can be looked into and investigated and dealt with appropriately. And I'm calling for that to be done because we cannot have a situation where ministers of government in Parliament on their feet answering questions about matters of state are not being scrupulously truthful to the public in Parliament. The last issue I wanted to address today relates to the squabble that took place during the proceedings of Parliament yesterday and which have been covered by at least one media house and I believe in social media, alleging that or saying that the Prime Minister was calling a member on our side a bully and so on. Now, for those of us who were in Parliament and who witnessed this, it's quite clear that the squabble began when the Prime Minister told that member to shut up. Twice. When the member responded and said, "What did you say?" He repeated it and told him to shut up. This was in the context of the member speaking to the question of Hansard being asked to verify what had been said previously in the same proceedings which were the subject of a dispute. It is those two unparliamentary statements by the Prime Minister which led to that squabble and ultimately resulted in him calling the other member bully.